On this week's episode of the Business Diaries of Phuong and Jay, we'll be talking about how you should structure your business's finances, your business is a cash-eating monster, and I want to quit, but the smart way. Another jam-packed episode with a ton of valuable content. So, Jerome, cue music. All right. Man, I aced that intro.
You came in with so much energy.
Man, you gotta start strong, bro. You gotta start strong. How else you gonna do it?
My name is Phuong. I'm sorry, Jerome.
We just lost our number one listener, Nate.
He's gone.
He's gone. He's not listening anymore.
All right,
But
man.
anyways, let's kick off, man.
What's happening? What is going on?
What's happening? I'm back to jiu-jitsu now, which is great. Back to training.
Feels good.
I see that it's helped out with my mental health quite a bit because you just need to train sometimes, get your mind off things.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, I've got like freaking scars all over my hands, my feet, my knees, which ain't great.
I've always said that there's nothing like getting choked out on the mats.
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. If you're listening and you haven't tried jiu-jitsu, I highly recommend it because helps you.
If you like choking, that's the place to be at.
Moving on. First topic. Phuong, what are we talking about?
I'm going old school here. I've got a piece of paper because my laptop is actually being used at the moment. So we're actually attacking business finances. All right?
Okay.
So I think what sparked this conversation is we had a little heated discussion yesterday on whether or not we can spend on a piece of equipment, and you strictly said no.
No means no.
I feel like every time I want to spend something, and I'm doing this for you too, Jerome, because we as guys, as technicians, we love buying new gear.
Yeah,
we
do.
love spending. We love buying the new gear, making our life easier, making more efficient. But as soon as I press that little buy button, I get a call straight away from you. Straight away. There's no question about it. You're like, what is this? Highlighted the transaction summary on the on our account. So I want to know. So we differ a bit in the sense how we like to spend our spending, because the way I look at things, right? And this is how I've taken my business from the start. I max out my cards, my credit card loans, whatnot, so I can get the best gear, so I can learn and understand how to use the piece of equipment, gain the knowledge, and then start selling it. But you obviously see it like another way, how you want to do it a little bit more cost-effective way. So tell me a bit of how you approach business finances.
Man, to be honest, this topic and the next one is actually quite similar. It kind of dives into the same concept of the way I think about business in general in terms of finances. So I'll try not to kind of tiptoe on that topic too much before we start talking about it. But look, in terms of finances and how I think about it, right? And the way I've developed this thinking is, from my previous business, right? I mean, in general, I've been pretty tight with expenses because I know that, every little thing kind of adds up, right? But in the sense that my previous business, Chicky Chooks, the chicken shop, we were having a couple of good months and bad months, but then eventually I've noticed that, we got into a rhythm and, we got to a stage where, we were making decent money, right? We were paying each other, we were paying my wife and I, the business was paying us on a constant basis. And the good month, right? The month that we thought we were killing it, right? We'd go off and, we'd be just a little bit more, less tight with money and all that. Yeah. And then you realize by the end of it that you had a good month, but you've got no profits to show for it. Why is that? Right? And the reason I'm pretty strict with the finances is that I know that eventually when you do look at the expenses, you'll realize that your expenses, your profits have all gone to the unnecessary things, right? So you've been operating your business with a certain budget, whatever.
There's a certain leeway, you mean?
Correct. Okay. Yeah.
So it seems to me that any business is, like you mentioned in your summary here, is a cash-eating monster, and it's true. It's hard to see the profit sometimes because you look at the bank account at the end of the month and you're like, where the hell is all our money gone?
Correct. Like you make 20, 50, 40, 50, 60, 100 grand a month, but then you realize that. And we actually experienced this. And one month we did really, really well. Our best month so far, right? And what we did, we started getting more staff on, more contractors. We spent this, spent that. And before we knew it, there was no profits
I remember
left.
that. That was in March this year when we had almost 10 people on our staff on our roster. That's pretty crazy.
Of course, it's crazy. But then and again, this is going to be touched up on the next topic, but you realize that if you're going to keep spending all your money on growing, I guess, right? Eventually you have nothing left. So what's the point of doing all that work for nothing? Do you know what I mean? Yes, you did all that work for clients and blah blah. That's great and you've obviously got new clientele, but at the same time, if you have nothing to show for it, you've got nothing to show for it.
It's like what they said, the growth paradox, right? Because you're growing, you've already grown, you want to keep growing. And at what expense? When you keep growing, you keep digging into your profits, and at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, you got nothing left because you've grown. How would you put it? Your finance has grown. Your has filled up. I want to say something.
Okay, so I guess, screw it. I mean, we did have some show notes that we were going to talk about, and I was going to save this bit for the next bit, I guess. But I'm going to touch up on it because it's so relevant to this topic, right? So the book I've been reading lately or listening to on Audible is called Take Profit First by Mike Lowicz. Mike, Michalowicz. Michalowicz. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Look, I don't know. The book is called Take Profit First. And basically it's trying to... the reason why I guess I purchased the book was exactly that, take profit first. So there's another book called The Richest Man in Babylon. He also talks about paying yourself first. And it got me thinking, it's like, yes, again, we're making all this money, but then if we're going to pay all the bills and all the taxes and then have nothing left for ourselves, what's the point, right? A lot of business owners go through this actually on day to day. They go through their deals, they go through their work, they be operating their business, but at the end of it, at the end of the year, the business account is zero, right? Or if worst case scenario, they end up having to pay taxes or bills and stuff.
Or they go and find themselves a part-time or full-time job just to be able to maintain their business size.
Yes. And what I guess the book is saying is that, your business is a cash-eating monster and, it has an endless pit for a stomach. And that, no matter how much you make or no matter how many more clients and deals you bring in, you will always end up using all that money, right? So a great, law, that I like is the Parkinson's law.
That's the one I was looking for.
Yeah. Don't try to steal my ideas. Don't try. So the Parkinson's law basically states that work expands as so to fill the time which is available for its completion.
Can I give a classic example of that?
Go ahead.
Do you remember when you were at uni? And then there was a certain deadline.
Yeah.
And then your tutor would give you like maybe a month, 2 months. But when you actually start? The
week before, the night before, correct.
It was the night before for me, like the night before, and then I would get everything done. But then again, the quality was never there.
Correct.
So, go on.
But basically what Parkinson's laws means in sense in finances or in anything in your day to day, right? So money, obviously, if you have a certain amount of budget to use, you'll spend it to complete the job, correct? Regardless of how big or small the job is.
All right.
Say you got 40 grand, you spend the whole 40 grand on equipment. Say you have $100, you spend $100 on a project. And that's what you work with what you got. Same thing with time frame, same thing with everything else. So the reason why I guess I got so heated in that argument or the debate that we had the other day is exactly that. The way I see it is that we've got adequate equipment. We've done the shoot with a certain amount with our equipment that we have. So why do we need to go out there and buy some more? Right? That's the way I think about it. Right? So in the book, what he said is to counteract this in terms of taking your profit first is like go to the bank, another bank that's not connected to your current business bank, and create, let's say, 3 to 4 new accounts, right? And what you do with that is one account will be for your profits, one account will be for your tax, and one will be for the way I see it is employee tax as well. And mind you, these 3 accounts cannot be touched online. So it has to be as inconvenient as possible, right? And what that does is that you end up putting money away that you don't see. You can't even see it on your online banking, right? So what that looks like is you put 1% of your money that comes in, any revenue that comes in, you take 1%, you put in the profits account. You take, this is the way I do it, you put 10% of any revenue that comes in into the separate revenue tax account. And then you take whatever's remaining for super and employee tax and put it in that account. And
did you say 3 accounts?
Yes.
It's similar to this book I read, The
Barefoot Investor.
That book helped me a lot in terms of managing my finances. So it's interesting that they kind of reframe that for like businesses as
No,
well?
it's not. Like, there's a lot of analogies how a lot of people's grandmas used to do this with envelopes, right? They get paid. They have different envelopes for food, for rent, for leisure, for whatever. They put money into that, and then you can't touch those envelopes that don't belong to what like, the expense it is, right? So let's say you're gonna pay for groceries, you take from the grocery envelope, right? It's the same thing with banking, right? And that's how I've kind of always, and I naturally gravitated to this. I don't know who taught me this, but I've known that I've done this for the longest time.
You've always been risk averse when it comes to finances.
It's not risk adverse. I find it more risk management or like more very prepared with money, because I know that money can go quick, man. Money does go quick if you don't look at it.
You're telling me that it's hard.
It goes really quick.
Because one of the things that we experience as business owners is just the fact that we're not able to pay ourselves as much as you would like to. And I mean, I thought the whole profit first is to have us being paid first, like, you know, the employees and staff and whatnot, and then business expenses come.
Oh no, it is. It is exactly that. But and then I called our accountant Boho. I was like, "Hey Boho, does that mean I gotta pay myself first before tax?" Like, no, tax first and then pay yourself. I'm like, oh, okay. But it makes sense at the end there, right? So I guess that's why he's always like, "Hey, don't skip your salary if for the month that you're not doing great, right? Don't skip your salary, pay yourself, and then eventually you'll figure it out, right?" Like I said,
it's hard though, because like, you know how some people are like, okay, cool, I understand this idea, but like I'm not even making enough to pay tax. So what do I do?
Make more money.
It's very easier said than done, right?
Yeah, I get that, but that's what I'm saying with expenses as well. Like every time we have some extra cash in the bank account, you guys want to upgrade, and that's why I'm like, guys, let's reconsider upgrading first. We don't need to grow all the time, you know. We need to allocate expenses everywhere, right? And eventually, maybe at the end of the quarter, when you do have extra cash in the grow account, then you use that money to buy, right?
Yeah,
You can't be always like, hey, we need this, we got to buy this, right? There's other ways around it. You can hire, which is a lot cheaper, right? You can borrow, or, you know, do friends favors, whatever, or you can make do with what you got. You don't always need what you think you need. So like I said, Parkinson's law, man, I actually came across this law in Tim Ferriss's book, 4-Hour Workweek.
Yeah,
that's the first time
one.
I went through that one. I came across it, and then I came across it again in this book.
Highly recommended.
Yeah, so I think also a lot of people should reconsider the way they run their business, and how they allocate their expenses in terms of, and also the growth mindset, man. The growth mindset is not always what it makes out to be, man. You gotta.
It's an illusion.
Yeah.
It's definitely an illusion. Like, because as we saw at the start of the year, we're like, this is going great.
Going great.
We're making bank. You know,
we're growing. Yeah, let's reinvest all the time and not have enough to pay ourselves. So, the shit thing, I guess, about growing all the time and always having a growth mindset is that you neglect yourself as a business owner, and what that in turn does is makes you resent the business, because when your personal time, when you're with your family, with your kid, with your wife, you don't have any money to support them, right? And
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, right. So I think that's why it's so important to really understand the power of budgeting and also how you allocate resources in your business. And it's really not always about growth.
I think this is a powerful one, and I need to re-listen to this, because I'm notorious, like, you know me. I love spending, because this is how I kind of grew. Like the way I kind of love it so much is because I'm able to experience so many things, like, you know, and that's how I've always learned. I need to have the thing in my hand, play around with it, understand it, and then kind of grow with it, sort of thing.
Oh, it's not to say that there's not ways around it. Like, honestly, like I said, hiring is an opportunity. Borrowing is a way to do it. It's not always having to buy the whole thing. Yeah, okay, you can resell it on after. And yes, of course, we've got assets. I mean, all this lighting and camera equipment is assets to the business, and you can eventually sell it. But at what cost? How long? You know, in 5 years' time, they'll be worth nothing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So opposed to renting it. So yeah.
So summarize this for me. Like, what should new business owners do, and what should current business owners do when they know for a fact that their company is sort of floating? It's there. It's not drowning. It's not growing, but it's just there. And we're not able to move anywhere, kind of thing. And this is the stage I feel like we've been in the past couple of months. It's just there.
Yeah.
But like, we're not able to grow past or sink.
I think and I've been trying to reflect on this. I'll be like, why is this the case that we're only making a certain amount? We can't go higher than that. I think it's because we take our foot off the pedal when we get to that certain amount of work that comes through. And I think that's what we, that's something that's on me, because I'm obviously responsible for getting more work to come in. But it may be part of Parkinson's law, where this is a certain amount of time that we have, and we're only trying to fill that, and that's it, right?
So it's definitely a problem that we currently are going through, you and I, in this business. There's like this wall, this ceiling that we're trying to break through, and we can't seem to do it. It's weird.
But now that we've put it out in the universe, maybe, you know, it's a different story. But hey, look, guys, so next step, if you're a business owner and you're, I guess, floating, but, you know, you're not super profitable, but you're just getting by, what I'd highly recommend is, like I said, go create a separate bank account, have 3 to 4 different accounts, and allocate resources every time they come into those accounts, and don't look at them, right? Whatever's left is whatever you've got, and whatever you've got is whatever you have to work with.
How do you determine, like, you know, the idea of profit first? How do you determine how much profit you should put away each month?
1%.
1%?
Not each month. Every time someone pays you, put 1% aside. Phuong.
1% is not that much.
Exactly.
So say it's like 1% of $100 is like $1.
Yeah. Okay. What's 1% of $1,000?
$10.
Okay. So if you can,
is it $10? Is it? That's $10. Yes. 10% is $100.
If you can make do with if you can operate your business of $1,000, what makes you say you can't operate your business with $990? What's $10? Right? Every time it comes in, let's say you clear 50 grand a month, you put 1% aside. That's what, $500. Times that by Times that by 12. What's that? 6 grand.
Yep.
6 grand profits at the end of the year. You're not going to be happy with that for a bonus.
That'd be nice. That would be nice.
End of year bonus, right? For yourself. So that's what basically they mean about taking profit first, and not always having to, wanting to pay the bills first, right? So put your money aside for the taxes, put your money aside for your profits, and then whatever's left is for, I guess, salaries.
And guys, this is why I'm a bad manager.
That is why he's bad financial manager.
I'm a good operator. I understand the technicalities of things, but it's just like, for some reason, the managing aspect has always eluded me.
It's funny, like it's things that are obvious to some people aren't obvious to others, and that's why I guess your team is so important to you. You know, you have to hire people that are.
Oh, I stand by that statement. Without a team, the business is nothing.
Yeah. So I guess we skipped on to the second topic, but let's go back to the first topic. You had some notes here about talking about the T myth or something.
It's the E myth, because like it's basically like how you and I differ in terms of personality in the business. Like you are the manager and an entrepreneur, and I'm the entrepreneur and operator, sort of thing. So we deviate in spending mentality, because like obviously my mentality is like, okay, I'm doing the work. I know what's hard in my work. This is why I want to spend for some of the equipments to make my life a lot easier. Whereas you, it's like, I want to grow the business. Don't want to spend in that aspect, so that we can use that budget to survive a bit longer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there's 2 ways to look at it. Obviously, it was, I would say, heated, but it was still a discussion at the end of the day. It wasn't like, I wasn't like overstepping my boundaries, saying that I don't understand your point of view.
Yeah.
Because this is so unfair. Like I would never say that. In a way. So yeah. So E-Myth, guys, check out that book.
I still need to read that book, man.
I've got it. I'll give it to you.
Oh no. Profit first. I wouldn't. I've been listening to it. For me, I don't know. It seems a bit wishy-washy, but
this is why I say, like, each time I listen to those audiobooks, there's only like maybe 15% of the book that is actually useful. It feels like some of these people, they bring out this idea of like how to operate your business, and then write a whole big fluff around it so that they can get a book to sell.
It's funny because you may think one section is important, but someone doesn't find that section important.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess there's a reason why they do that, and obviously everyone has their own level where they're at when they're reading the book.
That's true.
Yeah. So like, I wouldn't say it was completely useless, but I did say I can say I bought some stuff away from it.
Out of 5, what would you rate it?
I was gonna say 2, like low, but because it's actually taught me something, I'd say 3.5.
Feels like it's the very same book too.
It's very
Barefoot,
easy.
Barefoot
yeah,
Investor.
it is. But Barefoot Investor is a good book.
Yeah, it definitely.
It's a very good
book. I rate it pretty highly. I would say 4 to 5.
Yeah.
I just don't like the fact that he doesn't wear shoes.
The difference between Barefoot Investor and the Take Profit First, actually, if you think about it, they're actually the same book. One's what's it called? One's for business owners and one's for
personal wealth.
Yeah. Difference. Yeah. But I look, both very good books. If you want to learn about finance, if you want to learn if you want to learn about how to budget and control your finances and not go broke, definitely recommend those books, man.
We'll put this in the show note, guys, for you to as a reference. But these are really good books to read.
Highly recommend.
Here's to another book. Are we done with that section?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to quit.
Oh, okay.
I want to quit. Like
I want to quit too.
Like it kind of correlates to the last section. I sometimes when I see the accounts and like I know how much I get paid, it's very low.
Mm-hmm.
It demoralizes you.
Hey,
you know how you say
it's very low, but he has a Tesla. I'm just saying.
let's get back to that point. Let's get back to that. That's an interesting what's it called? It's a statement that you just said, right? So sometimes you know how you said like sometimes you because you're not paying yourself, you kind of start resenting the business. I get those bouts all the time, and that kind of leads to procrastination. And then after that, you were like, okay, let's get back into the horse. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah, that's always the case. It's an entrepreneur just cycle in general.
It's so
up and down.
I mean, listen to our last previous episode, guys. It's arduous is a term that I said last time, but Seth Godin, it's a tiny book that you should read. It's called The Dip, and this is
Have you read it?
Yeah, I read it. So he basically says that for every businesses, there's always going to be lows and highs and lows, right? So highs and lows. So when it's high, it's good. When it's low, it's basically shit. But the question that he introduces in that book is like, when do you quit? When do you quit? When do you know that the project that you're working on, the client that you're working with is not the right client for you, is not the right project for you?
Yeah.
Right? So this is kind of like what we're experiencing at the moment, because I would call it a dip, because we're not under the water. We just can't hit the ceiling. We can't break through the ceiling. And it is kind of demoralizing. And this is what he would call the dip. So the question is like, how do we know when to quit a project that is not viable for the business or viable for you?
Yep, go ahead. This is a good topic. This is a very good topic.
Yeah,
I think,
so he says that the way that you go about it is to set smaller goals, okay? Understand the client, understand the project, like set expectations, set little goals to see if you can hit them. If you consistently fail at it, then you know there's something up.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, on that, I do like what you just said just now about setting goals and having metrics and measurables. I think that's something we don't do very well here at Invisuals. I think that we as individuals or owners should set in place KPIs for ourselves as well as the team that they can meet.
I feel like we don't communicate enough, you and I, regarding this for some reason.
It's tough because we're so in a day-to-day. Don't get me wrong, like we're busy. Like there's a lot of work coming through, but for some reason we're always at the end of the month, we're like, where the hell are all our expenses? I don't know why. I kid you not, we're always busy. We always have like projects on and stuff like that.
You know what? The question that you asked me on the daily sometimes, what the hell are you doing, Phuong?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm like, bro, I am doing something. Just relax. I know, and I do feel bad because like I'm not very transparent with it, what I'm doing. So I guess this is why you're always asking the question, like, what the hell are you doing? And it kind of makes me feel like I'm not doing anything. So
half the time, I kid you not, I don't know what the hell you're working on. Like he's working on something, but I don't know what he's working on.
Yeah.
But anyways, so The Dip, that's a book that I'd probably be picking up because I feel like, and this is something we haven't put down too, but I want to talk about too. It's just this. I've come out of a recent rut. I've realized that I was in for a while, and you don't realize you're in it till you come out of it. And
you came out of the dip.
Yeah, I came out of the dip. Just mindset wise, right? So this was, and again, this is all. I guess. What's the word I'm looking for?
Subjective,
yeah. So it's all subjective. It's a mindset thing that I was going through. I was like, freaking hell, this is not going well. This is not going well. I've got a crying baby at home all the time. I'm just sitting in front of the couch. I'm not training. And once something just clicked and changed, and I was mowing the lawn. Like I was forced to mow the lawn one day, and just clicked, and I just started doing housework. I was mowing the lawn, and now I'm mowing my lawn. Try to do it every fortnight, every week. I'm back to training. I'm trying to help out more around the house. I'm
kind of sounds like you got out of your own head.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Sometimes you just get in the dip, I guess, like you said, and you just get stuck there, but you don't realize you're there when you're in there, right? You're just there, you're just going through your day to day, you're going home, you sit on the couch for like the next 5 hours, you're not doing anything. And then one day you're like, what the hell am I doing with my life? So, you get out of it and you start, grinding again.
Yeah. Do you talk to May, your wife, a lot about this stuff? That's going through your head?
Yeah. I kind of, I wouldn't say talk so much. I'm more like vent and complain. I'm like, what am I doing?
I was doing that last night.
Like, what the hell am I doing with my life? And it gets tough, especially when you compare yourself to your colleagues or your peers.
Oh,
That's the worst. That's the worst.
It's like you're growing. You're like reading my mind, because I
Yeah.
was going through the same thing. Like I mean, I'm proud of what my friends are doing. I mean, I'm very friends oriented kind of guy, and when I see them doing something great, it's awesome. I'm so happy for them. But
Part of you,
it
like,
kind of
what am I doing?
it kind of goes back on. I kind of think back on myself, like, man, I am not able to hit past this to break through the ceiling. So what the hell am I doing? You know?
That's true.
So
It's funny, we both have the same thinking, because I'm sure like thousands of entrepreneurs or business owners out there also have the same mindset, and they also go through the same crap. But eventually, they get out of it. They keep grinding, and this is something that I've talked about to our cousin in-law Jimmy, and we were saying how forgot my train of thought. What were we saying?
you were talking to Jimmy.
Yeah, but I don't remember what I was talking to Jimmy about.
Yeah.
Maybe it's hot in here.
Yeah, it's getting pretty warm. But look, I think one thing that you have to realize is that all businesses go through this. Everybody goes through this. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to go through this. It's an uphill battle.
I remember what I was going to say.
He's got it. He's got it.
I got it.
He's got it.
Right. So he was saying how you got to pivot all the time and quit a failing business and start a new one. But then I was comparing it to the older generation, how they just stick it out, and that's basically when they've stuck it out long enough, they ate shit long enough to eventually they're able to benefit from that.
I see in two mindsets.
Yeah, look, you gotta be smart enough to pivot.
Either you've stuck it out so long that you love it and you become good at it, or you stuck it out so long that you start resenting everyone around you.
Yeah, and
you start like resenting your wife and everything, because you're doing this to yourself at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyways, but like going back, it's like everybody goes through this. Entrepreneurs go through this. It's an uphill battle of solving our own problems. But it gets harder and harder. It's how do you condition yourself to push through that hardness.
But also, last thing I want to say is that it's also a mindset thing, and something that Dad always says all the time is you gotta believe mindset. And I'm like, what? This guy's crazy.
What's his woo stuff?
Yeah, this woo stuff. Dad's just lost it.
Yeah.
But then I've come to realize that what he's actually trying to say is that it is a mindset. You gotta stay in a positive mindset, because if you stay in a positive mindset, you see more opportunities. You're able to see life a certain way, right? So if you open your mind to and you let opportunities come to you, they will come to you.
Yeah.
If you don't, if you close off and you start resenting shit, they won't come to you.
Yeah.
So it's about, I guess, doing it long enough to understand your own self and how to control your emotions and how to get through business, because business is shit.
It's shit. Yeah, very good. I'm gonna leave. I think we're gonna end this with one quote: "Winners, we quit all the time. They just quit the right stuff at the right time."
And I'm gonna end mine with business is shit.
That's good. Seth Godin. Business is shit, guys. It's shit.
Business is shit, but we love it. We love shit. Anyways, look, guys, thanks for tuning into this week's episode of the Business Diaries of Phuong and Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did enjoy it, please follow us on our socials on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and we're on LinkedIn on our business page, AM Visuals. And if you guys require any production work, videos, podcasts, photos, let us know. We're your guys, AM Visuals. Sponsored by the Business Diaries of Phuong and Jay.
I think it's the other way.
Other way around. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys, and take care.